Hello there, Gary here again, and in this video I want to talk about giving route directions. Giving route directions might sound quite simple, but it's actually quite a complicated subject, and you'd need to use the correct terminology so that the pupil isn't going to get confused about what you want them to do, where you want them to go. And also it gets them used to what's going to happen in the test, and they'll hear the terms that the examiner might use so that when they go for the test they're not going to be shocked or surprised by some of the technical terminology maybe that an examiner might use. So if you can use those terms as you're instructing, it makes it a lot easier for the pupil all round and yourself. So the structure of giving route directions is alert, locate, direct. So you would alert the pupil to what you were going to be doing. So it will be, for example, take the, if it was going to be a junction, and then locate, next road on the, and direct, left or right. So take the next road on the left, alert, locate, direct. Timing's important because if you're too late with the timing of your route directions, the pupil's not going to have enough time to do what they need to do. If you're guiding as well, you're not going to have time to guide them, so you've got to time it so that they've got plenty of time to deal with it, you've got plenty of time to instruct it. So the earlier you give the direction, the more time you've both got to deal with that situation. So try and give the directions quite early. If we look at directions for junctions, then major to minor roads would be something like take the next road, or second or third road, whichever one it is, on the left or the right. Major to minor, if you remember, a major road has priority, minor roads are the ones that you're going to turn into, which would normally give way or have a stop sign on. So as you're going major to minor, take the next road on the left, take the next road on the right. Minor to major, that's the opposite. When you come into a give way or a stop sign, then that would be at the end of the road, turn left or right. Crossroads is the same as for major and minor. You might think you come into a crossroads at a give way, let's say, or even a stop sign, but that wouldn't be the end of the road. So if you said to the pupil at the end of the road, turn left or right, they might go through the crossroads and then see the actual end of the road further on and think you meant that. So if you're going to be turning left or right at a crossroads and the pupil could go straight ahead at the crossroads, then rather than saying the end of the road, say take the next road on the left or the right. And again, that's what the examiners would do, so you need to get the pupils ready for that. Roundabouts. If you're going to go left at the roundabout, first exit, then you would point it out first at the roundabout, take the first exit, which is to the left. If you're going ahead, let's imagine it's the second exit, it could be second, third, whichever, but you would say at the roundabout, follow the road ahead, and it is the second exit. So you're telling them at the roundabout and where they're going to go ahead, and then which exit it is. If it was turning right at a roundabout, and right is usually, if you think of a roundabout as a clock face, if 12 o'clock is ahead, then anything after 12 o'clock is turning right. So if you were going right, you would point it out at the roundabout, take the third or whichever exit it was to the left, to the right, and that'll just point out where they're going to go. It would be dangerous to say to a pupil at the roundabout turn right because they might actually go around the wrong way. So I know it sounds stupid, but it has been done before. So if you point out that the exit is to the right, but it is the third exit to begin with, then they're more likely to go around the correct way. Also, some examiners have started to ask the pupils to follow signs, and it's going to be part of the test in the future. So if you get your pupils ready for that, you might say, coming to a roundabout in particular, you might say follow the signs for such a place. So the pupils actually got to see that on the sign and decide whether it's left, right or straight for themselves and decide what to do. Pulling up, okay. During the test, the pupil is going to be asked to pull up quite a lot of times, and you'll be getting your pupils to pull up a lot as well in the lessons. So if you want them just to pull up normally, then you would say, I'd like you to pull up on the left in a safe and convenient place, please. Some examiners use those terms, so it's a good idea to get used to that, get the pupil used to that. You can shorten it, you could just say pull up on the left somewhere safe. But if you don't state that it's going to be safe or convenient, then the pupil can turn around when they've pulled up on double yellow lines or in front of somebody's driveway and say, well, you never told me you wanted me to pull up somewhere safe and convenient. So, you know, to cover yourself, and this is why the examiners use these terms, you need to really be specific with that and make sure that people can't blame you. Another way of putting it is find a safe place to pull up on the left, please. If you're going to be pulling up before a junction, maybe for a left reverse manoeuvre, then you would say something like, I'd like you to pull up on the left just before the next junction. And you're saying that you want the pupil to stop before the junction, not after it. If you said in front of the junction, then that would be a bit confusing as well. So before is a good word to use. For parked cars, if you're going to do a reverse park maybe, or just pulling away at an angle, then you could say, I'd like you to pull up on the left just before the parked car ahead and leave enough room to drive away again. The distance that they like pupils to do that at is between 1 and a half a car length. Not 1.5, but half a car length to 1 car length, just to clarify that, away from the vehicle in front so that they can move away from an angle, and that could be for reverse parking or just the exercise of moving away from an angle. For manoeuvres, turning the road, you would say, I'd like you to turn the car around to face the opposite direction using forward and reverse gears in as few moves as possible and try not to touch the curbs. They do say try not to touch the curbs because it's not actually an immediate fail if the pupil does touch the curb. It depends how hard they hit it. If it's just a case, they'll maybe not even put it down as a minor fault, but it's not an immediate fail if they do touch the curb, although it's better to avoid it. So that's why they put it in those terms, try not to touch the curb rather than don't touch the curb. Left reverse, drive past the junction and pull up on the left, and then reverse around the corner, keeping close to the curb, and reverse in for a good distance. Sometimes some examiners, you know, put a little bit more into that and say reverse in, keeping reasonably close to and parallel with the curb, but it depends how detailed they want to be. Some might, you know, just make it a little bit easier for the pupil to understand and just say, I'd just like you to reverse around that corner. But you know, the technical terminology, if you wanted to use it just to get your pupil used to, in case an examiner used all those big words, that's the kind of thing that you might want to say. Now I'm going to go into a bit more detail with some of the other directions for other manoeuvres, but there won't be enough time on this video, so I'm going to leave it here on this one and then do another video for the other manoeuvres. So back to the motto, 20 letters, 10 words, but one meaning. If it is to be, it is up to me. So, prepare to pass.